Hello and welcome to another video from the Independent Vlogger. Now, just before we head to the Oxford video, I just want to go back to the Newcastle one and mention something there. Now, when I was in the car park of the station, I mentioned that one of the railway lines was heading for Carlisle. It was in fact heading for Middlesbrough and not Carlisle. Now, whenever I visit Newcastle, my bearings go all over the place. For some reason, I can't tell which way is north or south, yet I'm fine everywhere else. I don't know what it is about Newcastle, it's weird. Well, there we go. So just a reminder, that railway line nearest the castle that turns right, that's Middlesbrough, the Middlesbrough line. Right, so on to today's video, Oxford. A very nice place to visit. Yeah, if you like old things and places to visit, parks, well, that's the place for you, Oxford. So keep watching and you'll see what Oxford looks like. So we have here a very handy hotel here in Oxford, right beside the main bus stops. And just over there is where the city tour leaves from. You see the flagpole with the red bit at the bottom. That's where the tour leaves from. And we have a huge shopping centre right across the road too. So let's head on to the tour and have a look at some of the places around Oxford. So this is the stop where the tour leaves from, and there we have the Oxford Tube. There's some very nice buildings in Oxford. We have here a map of the tour, and we're currently waiting opposite Christ College, or Christ Church. That's the church there. It goes around lots of various landmarks throughout the city. Prices starting at £19. Oxford High Street.
So this is the K1 and K3 where we got. Oh. Told us about these. See, that's pretty.
It is. Rose bushes.
this is
So there's the Oxford tour. Goes round the city. We'll have a look at some of the attractions in more detail now. There's a science museum that looks good. We'll head there. Now, the History of Science Museum, open every day apart from Monday. The tour stops across the road, so I'll have a look in here. Various globes and spheres. A microscope from 1704. A cabinet of curiosity. An orrery showing Ganymede. These were made in Paris. Instruments for navigating oceans. Travelling dials. Quadrants. A picture of the moon taken in 1797.
We definitely overexposed.
Photography. Looks like a sausage. So a visit to the museum was recommended, plenty to see in there. Holywell Street. Now the Pitt Rivers and Museum of Natural History is a good place to visit. The entrance is down here. An exhibition on water.
but it's basically a small
Too much water in some places, not enough in others. ask Dr. Ellen Dyer a question. What's the difference between predicting the weather and predicting the climate? How do weather and climate models work? How does weather and climate affect our access to water and our vulnerability to hazards? So, right, that one. A watery soup. 2 billion people drink unsafe water. Mosquitoes lay eggs in water. This person ran out of water, so they died. There are more species of insects on Earth than all other species put together. The inside of an insect. Big tongue. The praying mantis. There are bacteria, earwigs. A beetle laying live young. We might not like them, but we can't live without insects. The Pitt Rivers Museum. Looms and weaving. Different threads. Africa. Asia. British ship models. Quai Damask. West African sculpture. African pottery. North American pottery. Writing equipment. So that's the Natural History and Pitt Rivers Museum from the outside. Be sure to give this place a visit if you are visiting Oxford. Right, now we'll look for the observatory. Now behind those trees is St Anthony's College. Very nice. One of Oxford's old buildings compared with its new buildings. Now there's one of Oxford's electric buses, the 300 to the Park and Ride. Now the Royal Oak is a nice pub. One of Oxford's classic old buildings. Penicillin was first used here in 1941. Now the observatory is part of the university, so not a museum, so visitors can't go and look at it. But there is this fountain. Now, bus stops for the city tour are clearly marked. There is the bus stop number, the time of the first and last journey, and information on tickets. Some journeys even have live guides. And there's a map at each stop. of there to get on and off. Our next stop will be on this video, the Museum of Oxford. Here we are at the Museum of Oxford.
Mama is giving it to you.
Town and gowns. Yeah, this is what some people wore. Many of the landmark buildings were established during the medieval period. Oxford's been around for a long time. From bike to BMW. The old steering wheel. You can listen to car factory stories by listening to the earpiece. Story of pubs, quite often a place of riots and turmoil. Keeping the streets lit at night. Saxon Oxford. St Giles Fair. Sport's been a big part of this city. Old bike. A floor made from sheep and cattle bones. An old horse and cart, but no horse. The dress code for the cinema. Cinema.
Graham. I was local history librarian with the City Library, and it was still based in the town hall just behind me. Oxford's first public library opened just to the north of here on June the 1st, 1854, originally in a single room. Initially it was simply a reading room, and I suspect it was intended in part to provide an alternative to the pub for the working man. But within a few years, in 1858, they added a lending library. It's interesting that women soon formed a substantial minority of the borrowers. The library was clearly inadequate where it was, and as plans evolved in the 1890s for the new town hall, the building you're now standing in,
Hello, my name's Jason, and I'm a former Oxford Brookes University student. The object you've just placed on the table is the blue Oxford Brookes bus, a service that was primarily introduced for students but anyone can use. The bus service runs from early morning till late at night, and from my experience, it was invaluable to have travel around Oxford. There are 4 campuses in total, 3 are in Oxford and 1 is further afield in Swindon. The 3 in Oxford are located at Harcourt Hill, Wheatley and the main campus in Henderson. Oxford Brookes gained its university status in 1992, named after John Henry Brookes, who was instrumental in the formation and transition from local Oxford Polytechnics to the university we know today as Oxford Brookes.
So that's the Oxford Museum, all that history over there. So be sure to visit that if you come. The 400 links the park and ride with the train station and bus station. The city tour comes into the station. Now over there, just up them steps, is Oxford Station. You can get trains to all over the country. The stop there, that's where the city tour leaves from. And most buses serving Oxford come in here. It gets quite congested with lots of taxis. One of them is the 400, that bus that just moved, that came in there, that serves a park and ride. So plenty of transport options. Now that there is the railway line and the station. Interestingly, the station used to be over there many years ago. Now they moved it across here. Now we have works going on for HS2, which will be going from Birmingham to London. It'll be cutting its way through Oxford. So looking towards Oxford Station, we have a train, one of Great Western's heaps of junk, going to London. Honk. Must be workman. I mentioned back there that the work is possibly for HS2, but I don't know, the construction site isn't big enough for that, so I'm not sure what it's for. Cross country. Right, I'll go and see some buses at the bus station now. Here we have Oxford Bus and Coach Station. We have Megabus, National Express, the City Tour, and the Oxford Tube, Heathrow, Air Coach. Got plenty of variety in here. Interestingly, this used to belong to Scottish CityLink. Went back and forth in the 900. But when Cumbernauld got new buses, it was sent here. There's the City Tour on one of its trips of the day. And the Megabus waiting on the other tour coming out. There's Megabus M82 to Portsmouth. Annoyingly, that broke down on me on the way here. Oxford Tube, Poppy Bus to Victoria. The Airline to Heathrow. Nice coach. Airline to Heathrow and Gatwick. The X5 to Bedford via Milton Keynes. This service used to go to Cambridge and it had posh coaches similar to that one. That one there, but maintenance costs were too high. Oxford Tube to London Victoria, 24 hours, 7 days a week. National Express 210 to Gatwick. National Express 737 to Stansted. Stagecoach S2 to Windsor. S stands for Swindon. And here is Oxford Castle. And interestingly, archaeology in the castle ditch and its skeletons. In 2003, excavations found some bodies. Close to the spot lies the site of the medieval gallows. In 1610, Blessed George Napier, Catholic priest and martyr, was executed here. Imagine that, a big execution. We're on the High Street in Oxford and we come across a building where the first living cell is identified. Now, down at the far end of the High Street is the Botanic Garden in Oxford. There's some of the botanics are open 10 till 6. The Oxford Botanic Garden was founded in 1621. Let's have a look around. There are boat tours that go past the gardens and a guided tour. Have a guide. It's the River Cherwell and plenty going on. Oh, there's been an accident. Nice bridge over here. A rather large jug. Everything's in full flower. There's a big tree. Mediterranean Turkey. Find out about some of the plants from there. Sibthorpe's Travel in the Mediterranean. Nice little pond. A poet, a rival for Abbie Burns.
Yeah, exactly. Their style. So this was a great recipe design. And when we go down,
The flora of Japan. Interesting structure. Monocots. Fabids. It's a kind of bush that you'd get a sparrow in. So that's what to expect to see if you ever visit the Botanics in Oxford. Now let's do a river walk. We're going to have a walk across this nice bridge. There's some geese. It turns out that the bridge is private and not open to people, so I can't go across that bridge. But we're going along Cowley Place in Oxford, and that takes us to another part of the river. Now I've had to come up to the station end of the city, as the walks at where I was all private. This part is open to the public. The station is just up there to the right. So you can follow this footpath. This part is called Castlemill Stream, based after the mill that ran the castle. There's a nice little bridge. I'll go and stand on it. Now the bridge is known as Quacking Bridge. Let's very nice. Dudley the Vida flowered here. Now this street that goes down by the river is called Paradise Street. Now the river goes under this tunnel and the footpath continues down there. Now if you want to see what's along there, you'll have to go yourself. You have here a very nice pub, one of Oxford's finest buildings. So what did you think of that then? Was it the same as what you thought it would be? Has it given you inspiration to go? Well, hopefully it has, because I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend a visit to Oxford at some point soon. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and then you'll be able to see videos as soon as they come along. And also head across to the Family Fun Pack channel for some great family fun. Until next time, that's Paul for now.